You don't plan for it. You don't wake up one morning and say, I think I'll fall in love with someone who belongs to someone else. It just happens. Slowly, quietly. A look, a moment, a conversation that feels a little too familiar. And before you realize it, you're caught in something far bigger than desire. Falling in love with a married woman feels like discovering fire. Intoxicating, forbidden, and utterly consuming. It's the kind of love that burns without touching. The kind that lives in these pauses between words, in the glances you're not supposed to exchange. And yet, it feels more real than anything you've ever known. But here's the part no one tells you. The same fire that warms you at the start will burn you alive by the end. It begins with innocence. At first, it's nothing, a connection you can justify. You tell yourself, we're just friends. She's unhappy in her marriage. I'm just listening. You convince yourself that you're helping, that you're different from the man who doesn't understand her. She opens up. You listen. You make her feel seen again, alive again. You become the escape, the reminder of who she used to be, before the weight of routine buried her. And little by little, you start believing you're the one meant to save her. But here's the truth. You're not saving her. You're saving the feeling of being wanted, being chosen, being needed. And that's not love. That's emotional addiction disguised as destiny. The psychology of forbidden love. Every human being is wired to chase what's scarce, what's forbidden, what's uncertain. The forbidden amplifies emotion. It turns ordinary attraction into obsession, affection into worship. When you fall for a married woman, your brain isn't operating in love. It's operating in scarcity mode. You crave what you can't have. You romanticize what's unavailable. You mistake the adrenaline of danger for the depth of connection. You start believing that the love's intensity means it's special. It's not. It's just magnified by the impossibility of it. If she were free, if she were truly available, the magic would fade into something human, something normal. But because she's not, your mind turns her into something divine. You don't fall in love with her. You fall in love with what she represents. She becomes the symbol of everything missing in your life. Passion, validation, meaning, connection. And that illusion is powerful enough to destroy both of you. The fantasy of rescue. Here's a brutal truth. Every man who falls for a married woman thinks he's different. He thinks he's the exception. He thinks she'll leave her husband, start over, and they'll build something beautiful together. But statistically, almost none do. And the ones who do rarely last. Because relationships born in secrecy are built on deceit, and deceit doesn't suddenly become loyalty when the circumstances change. Even if she leaves, the same patterns that made her leave will haunt you next. You'll start wondering, if she did this with me, who will she do it with next? And that thought never leaves you. You can't build a future on the ruins of someone else's trust, because the energy that begins in betrayal carries that frequency forever. Quiet, invisible, but always there. The mirror. You refuse to see you. Think you've found love. But what you've really found is a mirror. A mirror showing you your own unmet needs. Your hunger for affection. Your craving for connection. Your fear of being alone. You're not in love with her. You're in love with the part of yourself that finally feels alive in her presence. The married woman becomes your drug. Every stolen text, every hidden meeting, every brush of her hand gives you a hit of validation. You become addicted to the highs and lows, the secrecy, the risk, the illusion of being chosen despite the odds. But every addiction ends the same way, in withdrawal. And when it does, you'll realize it wasn't her you wanted. It was the feeling of mattering, the emotional economy. Here's what most men don't understand. A married woman who entertains another man isn't just sharing emotion. She's redistributing power. Her marriage may have grown cold, but it still anchors her life, her home, her identity, her safety. You become her emotional supplement, not her foundation. She gives you words, not actions, promises, not plans. You give her excitement, she gives you fantasy. You invest everything, she risks very little. And when the guilt catches up, she'll retreat back into her world, leaving you wondering how something that felt so real could vanish so fast. You'll tell yourself she loved you but couldn't leave. But the truth is harder. She never intended to. You were the spark she used to relight her fading sense of self. And once she felt alive again, she no longer needed you. The cost of loving someone unavailable. The pain of loving a married woman is unique. It's the pain of presence without ownership, of intimacy without future, of love that never fully belongs to you. You live in fragments, half conversations, hidden moments, promises whispered in parking lots. You measure your worth by how much of her time she gives you. And when she pulls away, you start chasing, begging, shrinking. That's not love. That's self-erasure. You lose your edge, your focus, your confidence. Because deep down, you know you're living in someone else's story. You've become the side note in her chapter, and she's the headline in yours. The lesson. Hidden in the pain. Every man who's gone through this eventually learns the same lesson. Sometimes, the most painful love is the one that teaches you what real love isn't. It teaches you that love without integrity is poison. That desire without direction is chaos. That if you have to hide it, it's not sacred. It's self-destructive. It teaches you that being chosen means nothing if it requires another person's betrayal to make it happen. Because love built on lies doesn't heal you. It just hands you a beautiful cage to die in. What healing really looks like. So what do you do with all this? You don't hate her. You don't hate yourself. You understand what it revealed about you. That you were lonely enough to settle for half love. That you confused intensity with intimacy. That you mistook attention for affection. You take the lesson, not the wound. You rebuild your self-worth around something real, not someone unavailable. You learn that your value doesn't depend on being desired by the forbidden, but on being respected by the free. You realize that peace isn't found in passion that burns. It's found in connection that endures. The closing truth. Falling in love with a married woman isn't a moral failure. It's a human one. It's what happens when need meets illusion, when loneliness meets opportunity, when the heart outruns the mind. But if you're in it now, if you're in that emotional storm, know this. It's not too late to walk away, because the longer you stay, the smaller you become. And one day, you'll look in the mirror and realize you're not the man she fell for. You're the man who fell apart for her. Love should expand you, not shrink you. It should bring clarity, not chaos. It should make you more of yourself, not less. So let her go. Not because she's evil, not because she lied, but because she was never meant to be yours. The right kind of love doesn't require stealing. It doesn't hide in shadows. It stands in daylight and chooses you fully. That's the kind of love worth waiting for. That's the kind of love that heals instead of haunts. And when you find it, when you finally meet someone who's truly free, you'll understand why the one who wasn't never could be.